So what is the point of this video from today? Nothing too exciting, but as you probably tell, there's a couple things that are different. Daybreak finally released the AFK kick, or I should say removed the AFK kick from Mischief server. Traditionally, this is only removed on TLPs that have had a population decline, such as Thornblade a while back had it removed. Mischief is still pretty booming. As far as I'm aware, it's the second most populated server, second only to Verona, and all signs indicate that's going to continue for at least the near future. Anyways, this allows people to be sane and come to the guild lobby for massacre buffs instead of that other zone where people sometimes congregated for massacre buffs in front of this place called the main bank, which makes no sense. The guild lobby has two banks. It has two parcel NPCs. Some people, at least that I've seen in general chat, are still not aware of this. It makes no sense. All you have to do is click the merchant and click parcels, and there's your parcel NPC. You can send, receive, whatever. It's just not called a parcel NPC. I don't know why Everquest players are so slow on certain things, such as why has it taken Mischief this long to move to the guild lobby for buffs? It just makes more sense than anything else. Anyways, the other thing I will mention is that I finally switched to playing at full resolution instead of having to scale my desktop resolution. I don't really like this all that much. I do play in a 2560 by 1440 monitor, which is not high by any means, but it is high enough to where the UI and most components to it are just too small. I used to effectively play at 1080p resolution prior to this, but the game just looks washed out, and I just was getting tired of it. I wanted to try this for a little while. The problem is that because the game UI has not really been redone ever since, well, in a long time, like your inventory window, if you're not using the default UI, which currently the inventory window on the default UI is able to be increased, and you could raise the size of chat windows by, well, not the size of chat windows, but you can raise the size of fonts in chat windows, which is helpful, and you can resize your hotbars, which is very helpful. I currently have mine set to 120. 140 might make more sense to me because at 120 it's still a little too small. But there's so many other things in the UI that are just too tiny. Like this is my group window, and that is the health bar of one of my group mates, and that's my experience bar. And in the player window, here's my health bar. I can honestly barely read the numbers unless I'm like sitting closer to my monitor than I normally would. I don't have the best vision. I'm a little nearsighted. I wear glasses even when I'm playing, but it's just still too tiny, especially with the map. The map system in EverQuest it's always been terrible. We all know it, but especially with the labels on things in the map, even if you set the label to be as large as possible, such as what I just changed to this index right here, that is still pretty hard to read if you're sitting in a normal position in your chair. Obviously, that will depend upon your vision, what size screen you have, and that sort of thing. I use a 27-inch display at 1440p, pretty common actually. I know some people that play on huge monitors at 4K and split them up into 4 different sections, so they can 4-box really easily, and that's fine. It works for them, but ultimately they're playing at lower res, so they don't have a lot of those same issues. I really think that Daybreak needs to stop what they're doing with the UI change with everything and just make the entire game system scalable so people can actually play the game on a modern display without having to lower their desktop resolution or enable desktop scaling, which is fairly easy, but when you're trying to educate, the entire player base how to do that, it's actually pretty hard. And if they don't make this change, I honestly think people are just going to get fed up and eventually quit. Daybreak has made some decent quality of life changes over the last couple of years. They still have a lot of things that they really should address, but every single player looks at the UI. Not everyone plays at a higher resolution, but at some point, people are going to be continuing to upgrade to bigger displays with higher res, and they're going to notice the same issues that a lot of us have been talking about for, honestly, years. I mean, I've been previously playing at 1440p with 125% scaling for like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And effectively, what's been happening is that all of my gameplay footage or gameplay that I've been seeing, obviously it lowers the quality of it. It looks more washed out. Not that EverQuest is a game known for having great graphics, especially by today's standards, but no one would want to voluntarily play at a lower resolution unless they have to, because they need to be able to read certain parts of the UI. So I don't know if I'm going to be sticking with this. I might go back to how it was before, just from usability. But anyways, that's my rant. Daybreak, fix your UI, and thanks for finally giving us no AFK kick on Mischief.